I'm going to be honest with you. It seems to me like this offseason is going by pretty quick so far. Maybe it's because I'm still kind of on the high from the national championship game. I don't know. But spring practice already starting for a lot of teams over the last couple of weeks. And it starts today for my Georgia Bulldogs, their first of 15 practices over about a 30-day period. And then, of course, with the G-Day game, the second Saturday in April, I believe that is. Which I hope to attend this year, by the way. I haven't gone the last 2 years. It was canceled 2 years ago because of COVID. Last year, they only gave away like 5 or 10,000 tickets or something because of COVID. So I haven't been the last couple of years. And the spring game, the G-Day game, is one of my favorite football events of the year that's not an actual football game. I have a lot of fun at those spring games. I say it all the time. I encourage any fan of any college football team to attend their team's spring game if at all possible. It really is a lot of fun. But anyway, practice gets underway today. Now, what is Uncle Lou watching for over the course of the next month when it comes to my Georgia Bulldogs? Well, I already made a video specifically about one of the things I'm most interested in watching this spring, and that's Georgia's backup quarterback situation. Stetson Bennett will go into the season as the starter. I don't think anybody doubts that. We play Oregon in week 1. Barring an injury to Stetson Bennett, I'm willing to bet he starts that game against Oregon. Who's going to be the backup in that game, though, or the number 2 QB? I think we'll go a long way to finding that out during these spring practices over the next month. It's pretty much a two-way battle between Carson Beck and Brock Vandagriff. I don't think Gunnar Stockton's going to be able to break into the top 2 his freshman year. I do think Gunnar Stockton is the eventual future at quarterback for Georgia football, but that future won't be 2022. So who's it going to be, Brock or Carson? Like I said, I did a whole video on that, so I'm going to make this kind of quick. I guess I'm throwing my hat in the ring for Brock. I don't really have a favorite between the two, so this is just me guessing, not something like, oh, I hope it's Brock. I don't really know. I do sort of like what I know about Brock a little bit better than what I know about Carson when it comes to size, mobility, and arm strength. Although Carson's got some arm strength and can move around too, I think Brock's maybe a little bit better in those areas. And I think it's very likely we lose one of those 2 players to the transfer portal after spring practice. If Carson feels like he has fallen behind Brock, you got to remember Carson's been there a year longer than Brock, so he's ahead of Brock as far as how long he's been there. If he feels like he's behind Brock on the depth chart coming out of spring, I think there's a very good chance he hits the transfer portal. I think the same can be said for Brock. I think there's a chance he could transfer out as well if for some reason he was behind Carson. So, we're losing JT Daniels. He's already in the transfer portal. I think it's very likely Georgia loses another one. So you can check that video out I made a week or so ago about the quarterback situation if you want more details on what I'm watching for when it comes to QBs in the spring. But I'll definitely be watching that. The battle between Brock Vandagriff and Carson Beck. And, of course, it'll be interesting as well to see what Gunnar Stockton can do with the Georgia helmet on. So that'll be interesting to see, too, although I don't expect him to battle for the starting position or the number 2. The number 2 quarterback is going to be an important position for Georgia this year. I mean, if you look at Kirby's time, how many times has the starting quarterback in game 1 finished the season as a starting quarterback with Kirby Smart? Well, he came to Athens in 2016, right? Grayson Lambert started game 1. Jacob Eason ended the season as the starter. His second year, 2017, Jacob Eason started game 1 as the starter. Jake Fromm ended the season as the starter. 2018 and 2019, Fromm started and finished. 2020, Dwan Mathis actually started the first game. What a nightmare that was. And JT Daniels finished as the starter. 2021, JT Daniels began the season as the starter, and Stetson Bennett ended as the starter. So, backup quarterback in an important position at UGA because backup quarterback likely to end the season as the starter. So, we'll see Carson Beck versus Brock Vandagriff. I'll be keeping an eye on that this spring. Up next, the inside linebacker position, and this is a little disappointing. We're losing our top 3 inside linebackers from last year. I actually think inside linebacker is the position group that worries me the most heading into next season. Believe it, last year, everyone was talking about Georgia's DBs with very young, inexperienced. How are they going to make up for that? That's the case with Georgia's inside linebackers this year. I mean, we lose, of course, Nakobe Dean, Channing Tindall, and Quay Walker. It was sort of a 3-man rotation there at inside linebacker. Nakobe Dean kind of the constant there. Quay and Channing kind of rotated. So you're losing your top 3 inside linebackers, and there's not a whole lot of experience behind that. Now, there's some serious talent, no doubt. I mean, Georgia hasn't recruited in the top 3 for no reason. I mean, they're loaded with talent, but experience matters. I think we all know that. And so the inside linebacker is a concern for me. And it looks like we're going to have a couple of potential starters at inside linebacker this year out for spring practice. Rion Davis, is it Ryan or Rion? I don't know. And Smile Munden, I believe he's inside linebacker. He's out too. So not a good start to the inside linebacker situation heading into the spring for Georgia. We'll see what they look like this spring, but I think that's something that's worth keeping an eye on. I mean, we lose talent in other positions, no doubt about it. But I don't know if there's another position where we lose our top 3 players. We get a couple of really good edge rushers back in Nolan Smith and Robert Beal. Jalen Carter returns on the defensive line. The secondary, you get Keely Ringo back at one corner. You get Christopher Smith back at one safety. They got to fill in the other corner and the other safety. Tyke Smith tore his ACL. If he's healthy, I'd be surprised if he's not starting at the other safety position. The other corner, kind of a coin flip there. Is it Kamari Lassiter? Could get a look there, a couple of guys there, but I'm less concerned about the secondary. Inside linebacker is the position on defense that worries me the most. So I was looking forward to really watching that, and I still am, but it's disappointing to have a couple of key players out at that position. And you know what? Arik Gilbert. Arik Gilbert is back with the team. He's enrolled classes full-time, participating fully in all football practices, and he's been doing all the off-season stuff, and he will be participating fully in spring practice. That's the good news. The bad news is we're really going to need him because Brock Bowers is out for the spring with an injury. Darnell Washington is out for the spring with an injury. Those are our top 2 tight ends. So Arik Gilbert's going to get a lot of work this spring. Kirby talked about it, was it today or yesterday? When he did his spring practice press conference. I can't remember now. But he said he expects Arik Gilbert to get a lot of reps at tight end this spring because of the injuries to Darnell and Brock Bowers. So there was a lot of people kind of speculating that Arik Gilbert might be playing wide receiver. And who knows? Maybe he will. But, if you believe the words coming out of Kirby Smart's mouth, which I only do about half the time. According to Kirby Smart, Arik Gilbert will be playing tight end for the University of Georgia this spring. Got a couple other guys there too, Godey. Of course, we bring in another monster freshman in Oscar Delp. So, injuries are never good, especially to 2 starters, Darnell Washington and Brock Bowers. But let's be real, we kind of know what we have with those 2. So if you're looking for a silver lining here, we're going to get a look at several of the other talented, highly rated Georgia tight ends who are going to be sort of forced to take on a lot of additional reps this spring because those other 2 guys are out. And, of course, I'm talking again about Arik Gilbert mainly and Oscar Delp. Spring practice. First official day of spring is March 20th. What's today, the 15th? So we're 5 days away from the official start of spring. Of course, it's been spring here in Augusta for a couple of weeks. The pollen is everywhere. You wash your car in the morning, it's yellow again in the afternoon. 70 degrees every day and getting warmer. So spring is in the air. College football is back momentarily. Take advantage of it while you can, college football fans. There will be, whatever team you follow, there will be articles posted all over the place and videos posted on YouTube almost every single day about your team's spring practice. So if you're a college football nut like I am, and you have a hard time in the off season, well, there is no off season, but if you have a hard time during the part of the season where there is no games, which is what we're in now, soak this spring practice up. There's a lot to learn in spring practice. And look, what's the saying? Something is better than nothing. I'll take some spring practice and a spring game in mid-April to get me through the next 4 or 5 weeks of the part of the season where there aren't any games. Anyway, let me know what you're looking forward to in terms of spring practice with your team. Is there a specific position or a position battle? Is there a certain player you're looking forward to seeing in your spring practice? I like to look at the true freshmen that enrolled early in spring practice. Unfortunately, some of the true freshmen enrolling at Georgia that I was most excited about are either not early enrollees or they're injured. Bear Alexander, very highly rated and talented defensive lineman, is out for spring practice. And Branson Robinson, a running back out of Mississippi, I believe, is not an early enrollee. Branson Robinson's going to play this year. That running people, who's going to be the freshman to make an impact for Georgia this year? Well, put Branson Robinson on the list, running back. You know, we lost James Cook and Zamir White. We have Kendall Milton coming back, and Kenny McIntosh and Dejon Edwards. Branson Robinson is going to see the field. Georgia plays 4 running backs. I don't remember the last time a game was played that Georgia didn't play 4 running backs. So Branson Robinson is going to play, and he looks like what Nick Chubb looked like coming out of high school. I mean, the guy's built like a tree trunk, just muscles everywhere, fast, shifty. I'm excited about him. So, but we won't get a chance to see him in the spring. But you'll see him play this year for sure. He's too good to keep on the bench, and Georgia plays a ton of running backs. But anyway, enjoy your team spring practice. Call-in show tonight, 7 p.m. Give me a call tonight at 7. My son has a soccer game at 5, so get home, wrap some things up with that, and I'm going to do the call-in show at 7 o'clock tonight. Give me a call. Let me know what your expectations are for your team this spring and what it is you're looking forward to seeing from your team at a spring practice. But until then, though, have a good morning.